Now I'm recording. To reiterate, just for the recording, you are in the beginning of Ilka's Pass. You have bypassed 3 robbers, thanks to our very charismatic Eve. You continue forward at about late morning / early afternoon, I suppose. Sun is still high in the sky, and the walls of the very twisting and winding Ilka's Pass are covered in a thorny and thick vine on both sides. What do you guys do? Anybody? Do you guys choose to continue through the pass?
Hey, Paul, why don't you try to tell us where the cultists are?
Good choice. So what she's telling you to do is you have, as part of your quest, an unerring sense of direction to the cultists, which means that at any point in time, you can ask me to tell you where the cultists are, and I am forced to tell you, which I'm going to do as soon as I get my other camera set up, which I wasn't prepared for. Bear with me 1/2 second. Again, I know none of this is making sense yet. It will, I promise, eventually.
So do I just ask where the cultists are?
Pretty much, yes.
Fucking needs this entire fucking time.
I think, let me see, I don't have to roll for that. Oh yeah, I don't have to roll for that. Never mind, I don't need the camera set up.
Fuck
So, yeah.
Whenever I first got here.
So you know I didn't know cigarettes. What the fuck you asked for?
No, I told you to get me cigarettes.
What?
I told you to get me a pack of cigarettes.
No, you didn't.
I texted you.
I remember it.
Is that your
That
dad?
don't matter. You text me, but I talked to you on the phone.
It was,
I hadn't even answered no text today.
well, shit. Let me go run up and get you a pack.
Oh my goodness.
Bear with me.
You're good, Kev.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Connecting. Connected. Oh, I hate computers. Things never work when you want them to. Oh, of course, the port changed. Why wouldn't it? 4712. Oh, please don't. Just don't. That'd be cool if you just didn't. All right, I'm going to pause the recording. And we're back. Okay, so I got that stupid shit set up. So, Monsieur Peter the Paladin, your unerring sense of direction towards the cultists who have dared defy your king tell you that there's an entrance to some sort of hideout or some culmination of them about halfway up Ilka's Pass. So you know that whatever entrance or whatever way in you might find is about halfway through the mountains, which is quite a ways ahead of you. When I tell you this is something that only you have realized. You will have to let everyone else know that their characters are allowed to know this, because what I'm telling you is technically just information you have. No one else can play with this information unless you choose to share it with them. So at the moment, you're the only one that has an unerring sense of direction to them. So if you would like for them to know, let them know. But otherwise, about halfway up the path is where you will find the entrance to wherever the cultists might be. Oh, fuck me. Actions, anyone. Of course, fucking someone texts me as soon as I get the goddamn camera set up.
I would like to head into the pass.
Okay. Anyone else following our dear wizard?
I'll go.
Okay. Everyone choose to move ahead with our dear wizard.
Davi.
Yeah, Davi. Anyone else?
Yes, I'll go too.
Okay. Eve?
Yeah, same.
All right. You continue down the pathway, which sprawls, becomes thinner at certain sections, wider at certain sections, but for the most part, is about wide enough for 2 or 3 people to stand shoulder to shoulder wide. It is very long. It appears that getting through the mountains is a journey of about 10 to 15 miles. It's a rather thin mountain range at this particular section. You arrive at around the halfway point of the mountains, and you find a woman and an injured man. The injured man obviously has some severe stab wounds as he is covered in blood, and the woman that is with him is crying and like kneeling down over him, trying to bandage the wounds as best she can. What do you guys want to do?
Walk past them.
Walk
This
past
is
them?
a trap.
This is a trap.
I don't care. That's a trap. I'm walking by. I don't care.
Okay.
Something's not
Who
right
is
about
it again?
So it's just a man and a woman you've never seen before. The man is on the ground, heavily bleeding, cloak covered in blood, and the woman is kneeling down over him, crying, very upset, and attempting to bandage his wounds. And I know this is super shitty, but bear with me 1 half second because I have to pee real bad. So once again, you have like I said, the man and woman on the side of the road. There's no other perceived people anywhere around you, and there doesn't seem to be many corners that anyone could hide behind. But who knows? BRB, like 20 seconds.
My nerves are shot.
Or your nerve shot. Steal a spot. It's fine. We can sit on the bench. You're his grandkid. You get more liberties. So, are we gonna walk? Is everybody gonna walk past these people, or is it just gonna be me and Eve?
I will.
I don't. Yeah, because I don't. I don't think it's a good idea.
Never trust someone who's doing that.
Yeah, you think it's a bad idea, dude?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
Because if you go there,
Mike, what about you? Are you gonna dip out? Michael.
Okay, sorry about that. Too much day drinking.
Ajax.
No, I'm gonna have to help.
Gonna have to
Why?
help.
Why do you have to help?
I have to help.
Alignment, I think. What's your alignment again, Mr. Ajax?
Show
Neutral.
someone the ways of my people.
Fair enough. If it wasn't the ways of your people, like wine and sex and glory,
Yeah, that doesn't mean we're heartless.
fair enough. I learn more about you every day. The woman notices you guys and calls out and begs for your assistance. She cries, saying that he is dying, that 3 bandits rushed past here and tried to kill them. Eve.
Was the acting as bad as that?
Yes, it was. No, not at all. I hate role playing. Sorry, hold on.
No,
hold on,
I
hold on.
understand that, but I need at least tell us how convincing it is.
It is fairly
That's a roll,
convincing.
isn't it?
She not from no NPC ever rolls. But
I meant
okay, so
for us to see how convincing they were for us.
no, that's actually just up to you guys. It's in your own
I don't
mind.
want
So.
shit they say.
So she, to be specific, and I'm sorry for the shrill voice, but she will scream something to the effect of, "Please help me! He's dying!
oh
3
my
bandits
God.
rushed past here, and he's dying!" I'm sorry, Mike asked for clarification, so I was.
Can I see from a distance if the wound is fatal?
Let's see. I don't know. I would say that's either intellect or wisdom. Which do you choose to use? And Paul, this is an example of what I mean by rolling for you and like what that's going to entail.
I mean, technically,
That'll
Paul
be
can lay hands
be
and
wisdom
heal
for
him.
me.
Okay.
But I don't think we should.
What'd you say, Z?
No matter what.
I said technically Paul could heal him with lay hands, but I don't think we should. I think we should just let him die and move on.
Yep.
So
Let
can
me
he-
finish what I'm trying to do.
5,
Please.
6 plus your wisdom, please.
Then it's A6. So
A6.
it doesn't matter what I do.
All right, so it's a fail, meaning that you are unable to tell whether his wounds are truly deadly or not, but you do see bandaged over sections of his leg, arm, and torso that may seem to be 3 separate stab wounds.
How much blood's on the ground?
Not very much. It's mostly contained in his clothing and on the bandages.
I would like to go
stained
up
are
and
the
grab the woman by her
bandages?
hair.
Oh, okay. Hold on. What was Mike saying real fast? Or Ajax? What was Ajax saying?
How much blood is on the clothes and the bandages?
Quite a lot. The bandages are soaking through, and his clothes are mostly reddened with blood.
And
Is he
where's he
moving?
stabbed?
Once in the arm, once in the thigh, and once in the upper abdomen below the rib cage, it appears, based on the placement of the bandages.
Oh, okay. I'll take my dagger and just stab him in the throat.
Okay, well, Devi did speak up first, so I'm going to give her an action before you. What did you want? You wanted to grab her hair?
I wanted to
That's
grab her by her hair
unnecessary.
and pull her up to me and tell her if she's lying that we'll slit both of their throats right now.
Okay,
I'm-
Mike, do you want to
the
do your
guy's
action
gonna-
at the same time, or
Die from the wounds, so
true? Do you have
there's
two,
no saving him. So
you do have two healers? I'm just saying, if you want to save him, that's totally up to you guys.
I
But are
Yeah,
you-
I'll
wanna
save
bend
well,
down.
I don't heal.
Boo Boo
You
just
don't.
said that he'll
So-
save him.
Okay, so the way this is
Alright.
going to play out, because technically Devi spoke first, so Devi is going to grab the woman's hair and say what she has to say. Mike/Ajax then spoke out saying he wanted to slit his throat, so it'll be up to him if he still wants to do that. And then
But you
lastly,
can stop him, Boo Boo.
yes, at any point in time, if you want to try to stop another player's action, you can technically try to do that, or you can just try to talk to them and negotiate around it. But otherwise, Paul the Paladin will get the third action to try to save the man if Mike tries to kill him. So first off, Devi, you will walk up to the poor sobbing woman who does not see you as a threat and is too distracted by the dying compatriot that she is trying to save to notice. So you easily, Paul the Paladin, I keep forgetting your actual name. I'm sorry, but Paul, you're so you know, like whenever something's not contested, like if you want to do something that isn't hard to do, like the way I just described it, where the woman is totally distracted and she's not paying attention to Devi, that won't be a roll because there's nothing going against you. So it just happens. Only if you're contested does it become a roll. So Devi, you walk up to the woman and grab her by the hair. You pull her up to her feet saying,
If you're lying, then he won't be the only one to die.
she says, and I am not repeating the shrill voice, so no need to take your earbuds out. She says, basically, my husband was attacked. We are mere merchants trying to come to Tyr and sell our wares. You notice at that point that the man next to him has a very large sack full of multiple items of which you cannot tell what they are. Mike/Ajax, the next move is yours. Are you slitting the man's throat? You do know that you have a paladin who is rushing towards the man, Mr. Paul. So you could possibly assume he's attempting to heal
I
him.
do know
but-
that.
Yes,
You
'cause
do.
you do know you're with a paladin, and you guys were a little ways off, so I would assume that Devi was the first to separate from group and go over to the two to grab her hair. You were heading towards the man to kill him, and the paladin also broke from group heading towards the man. But technically, you don't know Paul the paladin that well. He's just been sent with you for.
But we
on
do
this
know that
mission.
he's a paladin and they're supposed to be lawful and help people.
True. To be fair, though, Mike hasn't had a great reputation like with paladins, though, so he may not think highly of them. So, Ajax, do you slit the man's throat?
Nah, let it go.
All right. Ajax chooses to go up to the party. Upon drawing closer, he notices the details I've already given him about the bandages and where the stab wounds are. He knows that two members of the party, both Paul the Paladin and Eve the Bard, can heal. So apparently he's decided to allow something to that effect to happen. So, Paul the Paladin, what do you choose to do? Said you
Save
wanted to
him.
try to heal him. All right. So
Yeah.
what you'll do is you'll use lay on hands. You will kneel down to the ground and touch both of your hands to the nearly dying man and attempt to heal him. The way that move actually reads is when you touch someone skin to skin and pray for their well-being, roll plus charisma. So that's what we're gonna do. What's your charisma?
Be a +1.
Hey now, he has to figure it out.
+1.
Never gonna learn if he doesn't love. So you'll get 1 added to whatever I roll here. 6, 7, 8, 9. So on a 10 plus, you heal 1d8 damage or remove 1 disease. And on a 7 to 9, which is what you got, they are healed, but the damage or disease is transferred to you. So what that means is a d8 is this weird looking die that has 8 sides on it, which I know you can't really see in the video, but I'm going to roll it and tell you what you heal him of. And unfortunately, because it was a 9, whatever you heal him of will pass to you. You heal him for 1 HP, meaning that you add 1 HP to him and subtract 1 from yourself. So you are now at 19 HP.
I want to like
The
go
man-
up to him.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Eve.
Oh, I want to go up to both the paladin and
The injured man.
the dying guy.
Okay.
And be like, I'm better than this. I'm better at this.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, like, I'm too good to heal you.
But I'm not going to try to heal him. I'm going to search his body.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you're not going to heal him. He's still heavily wounded, although being healed by the paladin and son of his wounds, he is still bleeding quite profusely. Eve chooses to search him. Davi, so this is going to come to you
Hey,
because...
does anybody...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So this is going to come slightly to you because as Eve begins to search the dying man's pockets, our dear sweet wife is going to freak the fuck out and try to get free from your hold on her hair. Are you going to let her go or are you going to try to stop her?
I'm going to try to stop her.
All right. So once this becomes contested, this becomes a grapple, which is another basic move that I didn't tell you about, Paul. Sorry. But grapple is super simple. Roll plus strength. What's your strength, Davi?
1 moment. My strength is... Get in there. What is it? It's a 0.
0. So you get a 7 on your grapple. When you grapple with an opponent, roll plus strength. On a 7 to 9, you are able to manipulate your opponent with some difficulty. So you are able to manipulate her and you are able to keep her from reaching down and trying to help her husband from being robbed by Eve. But you choose one. Either you are injured during the grapple, or you both draw unwanted attention, or you both fall to the ground prone.
Oh, unwanted attention.
Oh, darling.
Unwanted attention. We are looking for a cult. I plan to find a cult.
All right, fantastic. Sadly for you, one of the bandits was apparently watching this entire time. A little ways up the path, you see one of the bandits which you saw earlier heading towards you. He obviously thinks he must have left something behind on the corpse, or what he thought was a corpse. He sees all of you standing around the man and draws a bow. First off, Eve, you find nothing on the man because they were robbed.
Well, okay.
I'm going to use her as a shield.
In my defense, I was actually looking for a pendant.
Okay. Oh, to see if they were cultists.
Yeah.
Way smarter than I expected. Fair enough. But no, you did not find anything. Yeah, sorry. So
your alignment's evil. We just all kind of figured that you were just robbing them, to be fair.
Let's be fair. You were evil. Like, I was expecting that you were just like, oh, look, a dying man. I'll just take his clothes.
I'll take everything.
Yeah. Which, to be fair,
Can I take his bag, though?
Oh, yeah.
After all this, I want his bag.
Oh, fuck. I described the bag, but I forgot they were robbed. Jesus, I'm a shitty DM. So yeah, you see the bag and it actually has nothing in it because I am garbage at describing things, like just utter garbage. So actually it's an empty bag.
Rocks.
Sure. It's got rocks in it. He was so sad that he was robbed that in his dying moments, bleeding out on the side of Ilka's Pass,
Well, I
he
was
filled
more
his
so
bag.
thinking that like the bandits would have put rocks in there to make it look like.
I mean, if they were
Use
setting
them
up
as
a
bait.
trap.
They basically used them as bait because there was one watching.
That is a pretty solid point, considering you did choose unwanted attention. So yeah, let's go with the person who can actually write a story. And so
Yeah,
obviously
the
that
boss.
bag was filled with rocks because it was indeed some sort of a trap. Although you are unsure whether or not the merchants are involved with it. Probably not, considering he's bleeding out on the ground, but you never know. So that one
Hey,
bandit
doesn't mean that she's not a part of it.
True.
He
very
may
true.
not have been, but for all I know, she could have been.
If only we had an immolator.
I want to use her as a shield.
Use her as a shield.
As
Fantastic.
a shield.
So the bowman slash bandit at the end of the pass off in the distance does draw a bow. It's hard to tell from that distance who he is aiming at, but firstly, Devi is going to attempt to grapple with her opponent and hold her as a shield. What's your strength again? 0?
Mm-hmm.
5, 6.
I'm not.
You utterly fail in that attempt. She breaks free of your hold and falls to the ground crying, crawling towards her husband in an attempt to wrap more bandages around his bleeding out corpse. The bandit draws his bow back and lets fly an arrow towards Paul so that he can see what a
You have a
danger is
shield.
like.
You have a shield.
You do. So what you've seen is a man in the distance who's drawing a bow and arrow. The arrow has let loose from the bow and it is flying towards you. What do you want to do? Literally anything. How would you
use
The
my
shield. You could. I am the law.
Use my
I am the
shield.
law. It's a little too late for I am the law, but so you raise your shield up before you in an attempt to block it. It's still going to be dexterity. No, let's go with constitution. I think constitution makes more sense because it's not necessarily dexterity and it's definitely not strength because the bow, like the arrow isn't going to impart enough force to make you have to like physically withstand that shit. So what is your constitution?
-1.
Well, fuck.
You're gonna have a bad time, man.
You about to have a real bad time. 3, 4,
bad.
5 -1 makes it 4. Total failure. You attempt to raise that shield, but obviously you are not able to predict the path of the arrow correctly. The arrow sinks itself into your thigh, dealing... Wow, fucking Christ. 9 damage. Which, as we talked about before, is mitigated by your armor. You have 4 armor, which means that it'll deal 5 damage to you, bringing you down to, I believe, 14 HP. So, the bandit has just loosed an arrow which sank itself into the thigh of the paladin, who was unable to block it even with his large shield. The
Fireball.
bandit... Good choice. Fireball. We haven't actually used it, so let me read it real fast.
I want to use it. That's the whole reason why I mentioned that one.
You
I don't
evoke...
think Bruce used that one.
No, Bruce didn't use a lot of spells, actually. A lot of the ones that were available to him for some reason.
Yeah, he mostly just used Dick Lightning.
Yeah, he was real into his dick. Although, to be fair, that was kind of the basis of the character. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be meeting that character again because I liked him so much. But, so... Devi uses Fireball, which says, you evoke a mighty ball of flame that envelops your target and everyone nearby, inflicting 2d6 of damage. Fortunately, our bandit, presumably, is standing alone in the end of the pass. So when you cast a spell, you are plus intellect, right? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Middling roll. On a middling roll for a spell cast, pick 1. Oh, that's definitely a thief. That's why that doesn't make any sense. Pick 1. You draw unwelcome attention or put yourself in a spot. The spell disturbs the fabric of reality and you take a -1 ongoing. Or after it is cast, the spell is forgotten.
Did you say unwanted attention was a part of that?
Yes, I did. That's option 1.
Yep.
Well, all right. So at the end of the pass, our dear wizard begins chanting nonsense from her spell book, and a massive fireball envelops the poor barbarian at the end of the pass, dealing 2d6 damage. 3, 4 damage. Again, I'm not going to be using a mat yet, but I am going to see bandit. 4 damage to the bar.
If it envelops everything in fire, wouldn't he be on fire? So wouldn't he get damaged whenever he moved or periodically from burns?
Because it's not actually on the sheet, no, not technically, but
Just checking.
because it does hit things around it, what does happen is once the fireball explosion clears, someone who is obviously in hiding behind a section of rocks near the bandit that you could not see is damaged and becomes easier to view as he stands up and begins trying to put out fires on his clothing.
Oh, you seen the movie Coco?
Have you seen Coco Max?
Yeah, that's one of the movies we're watching tonight, and then Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Michael Myers.
High five your dad for me. Thanks. So the random other person also takes 4 damage. He is clothed, unlike the bandit, he is clothed in fine leather armor, from what you can tell, which is now heavily singed. He appears to have 2 daggers at his side and no bow. You do not know anything about him, but he is dressed differently. Both of them have been injured. The bowman is temporarily distracted by putting out, I will give you this, small fires on his clothing. You all have a moment to react however you choose, but there is a great distance between you all and the 2 of them.
Boo Boo, now is your time to use I am the law. I'm just saying.
That is a good idea, because you can shout out to those 2 and tell them what you want them to do.
You could tell them to fight each other to the death, and they
might do it.
Okay, I will use that then.
Okay. What do you want to tell them to do? What do you want to tell them to do specifically?
Fight each other to the death.
All right. It's a good idea. So, I am the law. It's charisma. Hold on. Let me pull up the sheet. The Paladin. I am the law. When you give an NPC an order based on your divine authority, roll plus charisma. What's your charisma?
+1.
+1. 3, 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, a fail.
Could I possibly aid him in some way?
Yes.
No, there's no way. Oh, I get a charisma bonus.
Aid or interfere is the thing you can do. You can roll and see if you aid him, in which you can add a +1 to that, which will. So yeah, incidentally, I'm sorry, Paul, because I gave you the short version of the basic moves. Whenever you want, you can aid or interfere with an ally. So if you don't like what they're doing, you can attempt to interfere with them, or if you want to help them because they got to fail, you can attempt to aid them. If you aid them, you can add a +1 to their roll, or if you successfully want to interfere, you can -2 from it. So aid or interfere is plus charisma. What's your charisma, Darian?
1 second, Max. Stop kicking me. Sorry, we're over here like kung fu fighting.
That's totally acceptable. Kick her harder.
Shut up. It's a +1.
+1, 5, 6, 7, and an 8. You will successfully add a +1 to Paul's roll, which I will get to in a second. But on a 7 to 9, you also expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost. The danger or retribution will be that our fun dagger-wielding question mark character is going to throw a dagger at you in a moment. So to get back to, well, maybe he will, actually. I think you don't have the option of a negative happening because his I am the law is going to take over. Yeah. So backing up in time, Devi, standing next to you, Paul, apparently imparts a sense of importance or whatever the fuck it is that makes them believe you. So
I mean, I'll drop my hood. I get intimidation.
Fair enough. So she adds a +1 to your failing roll, bringing it to a 7. So on a 7+, they choose 1. So what I choose is I can do what you say, back away cautiously and flee, or I can attack you. So just because I genuinely want to see what happens, I am going to do what you say. So both of them are going to immediately see each other as enemies. Both of them are going to focus on each other as the bandit draws his bow back to attempt to fire an arrow at the question mark character. Unfortunately, the question mark character, the new addition to our fight, is very quick, much faster than the bowman. The bowman draws back his bow and fires an arrow at what was the question mark character, but he is gone as fast as he was there. In what appears a single puff of dust, the dagger-wielding unknown character flashes across the width of the pass and sinks a dagger into the abdomen of a bandit. The bandit falls to the ground with a large portion of his entrails leaking out through the newly acquired hole in his gut. The bandit falls dead, leaving only the blood-soaked unknown person, who is slightly fire-singed by Devi's spell. He looks at all of you and disappears in a puff of smoke. What do you all do?
Not until Peacock gets back.
Okay, we'll go to out there. I'm going to go.
There's a street cat.
I know, there's always street cats. Go. I guess I'm gonna move my way that way, isn't it?
You want to head towards them? Are you guys choosing to do anything with the still bleeding out merchant and his wife?
I want to take the bag of rocks.
You want to take the bag of rocks?
Yes, I want to take the bag of rocks. I can use them later.
Do you keep the rocks in the bag?
Yes.
That is going to be a massive amount of weight. Are you sure?
I just need like the bag and like 3 rocks.
Okay. You receive a very large sack, kind of like a what do they call those that the military uses?
Satchel.
Sure, let's go with that. It's like a big, large fucking backpack, basically, and it has 3 rocks in it. It will have 3 weight. Add it to your inventory. The man seems to cry out in one last gasp of pain, as, unless anyone chooses to intervene in the next few seconds, he bleeds out and breathes his last breath. Anyone? All right, our merchant is dead, leaving the poor widowed wife crying and sobbing, beating on his chest, begging for him to come back.
I want to tell her, think about it. You just inherited all his wealth. Be happy and go home.
She screams through tears that they are peasants who can barely feed their 2 now orphaned, well, semi-orphaned children.
Think about it. 1 less mouth to feed. You'll be fine.
Do you have a baby?
Huh? They're both toddlers. They're both toddlers, but they're at home with the ants right now because they had to go try very hard to get what little money they can scrounge out of their lands by selling their goods in Tyr, which incidentally, Paul, Tyr is the name of the city that you guys were sent from, the city that the game rules over.
You have insurance?
Take my short sword and just like slice her throat.
Okay. Are you gonna add it to your bag?
Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So she, being absorbed in the death of her husband, does not think that someone would come up behind her and slit her throat. So you are unopposed. You will kill her should you complete this action. Is that what you're doing?
You know it.
You rake your short sword, right? Short sword? Yes.
Yes.
You rake the edge of your short sword across her throat, easily slitting her throat and the several veins carrying vital blood to her brain. Blood squirts out as a look of utter unbelief comes across her for the last moments of consciousness she has. She falls over dead next to the corpse of her husband, which I suppose now doesn't matter so much. Both of them lie dead on the side of Ilkus Pass. What do?
Looks like bandits did it. Oh my god.
Oh shit, guys! These bandits! Fuck! Well, that sucks.
Can someone give me 4 coins?
You need money right now?
I need 4 coins right now.
Okay. I mean, that's up to the rest of them, but they just murdered like poor innocent, like.
I know,
orphans,
and that's
so-
why I need the 4 coins.
I'm super curious, so someone better give him his 4 coins. I want to know what the fuck he's doing. Oh, I know exactly what he's doing. Never mind. He's just.
What's he doing?
Anyone
Give
giving
me
him
the 4 coins and find out.
It might be worth it, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get them back as soon as he turns his back. So.
Okay.
Giving him 4 coins.
This is the setup.
Oh, hold on. Let me spotlight you. I want to see that. Oh
Move back.
shit! That's fucking awesome. Fire pit and everything? What the
Gonna make
fuck?
s'mores.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous. That's way better than my life right now. Like, I just plan to like sit in front of Hulu and get stoned by myself tonight. Like, that's way better. Fuck. And apparently the bike pump worked for the mattresses. Shit.
Apparently.
Okay. So going
Did I get the
back,
4 coins or not?
I believe yes. Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna just put them on their eyes.
Oh, my candy
All right,
corn.
one split sec. Fucking fix this. There we go. And that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay, so Ajax, our faithful and loyal with different traditions than our own barbarian, takes the 4 coins and places them delicately over the closed eyes of the 2 dead merchants. He obviously intends to pay respect to their death.
Ah.
Having done that, what are the rest?
Gotta pay the boat, man.
Exactly.
I'm gonna move on.
Move on. Everyone
Yep.
else choose to continue forward through Ilka's Pass. Anyone
Yeah.
not?
Yes.
All right. You guys continue forward past the place where the now dead and eviscerated bandit was, stepping over the large sections of entrails, which now sit separate from his body. You see no sign of the man who disappeared into the cloud of smoke, and ahead of you lies a winding and twisting
Man.
Ilka's Pass. Do you continue down the path?
Yep.
Might as well.
Yes.
All right. You continue down the path, and after approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours of uninterrupted journey, you find yourself on the other side of Ilka's Pass. You are past to the mountains now, and before you is a very large open field of territory that none of you have crossed before, and none of you know that well.
And then go put the lid on and put it up.
What do you guys choose to do? Incidentally, for all of you, because it might be important, cough, cough, and for Paul, 2 other moves that I did not tell you about are discern realities, where basically I roll and you get to ask me 3 questions about like the shit around you, and it might give you more detail than what you originally had, more than what I originally gave you, because you're going to spend time to like look around and feel shit, all that kind of stuff. And then the other one is spout lore, which is similar. It's where I roll for you, and based on what you get, you consult your accumulated knowledge about a subject. So basically, it's another way of forcing me to give you details that I didn't initially give you, because what you're doing is you're racking your mind for any kind of information that might possibly have to do with the situation. So, but you guys arrive at the end of Ilka's Pass, knowing full well you must have passed the entrance to whatever cultist.
No, you're too big, bub.
You found no sign of the cultists in your first pass.
I want to use. I don't know if I can, but I want to use my Bardic lore.
I've been waiting for this. Which, incidentally, which Bardic lore did you pick? I didn't write it down.
I picked Grand Histories of the Known World.
Ooh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, what she is doing is she has an ability on her sheet called Bardic Lore, where she chooses an area of expertise in which she has chosen Grand Histories of the Known World. It reads, when you first
You head it out?
encounter an important
You're leaving in
creature,
a little bit.
location
No, I just gotta go
or Eve, I'm muting you.
For some odd reason, Kale, I can't hear you at all anymore.
Can you hear me now? Oh, I
Well,
am
I can
fucking
hear you, but
retarded.
you're like,
yeah, I had
Yeah.
I pushed my mic arm up above on the headset. I'm literally retarded. I'm sorry about that. So
Here in a little bit, Boo Boo's got to get off, so let's
that's
get our
fine.
battle on.
Okay. So the bard is going to use grand histories of the known world. What?
I don't know if my phone's gonna make it.
What's yours at? Both the chargers are in the bedroom.
It kicked me out of the meeting.
It kicked you out?
Oh yeah, it did.
Boo Boo got kicked.
Tell him to rejoin. It might have been my weird internet connection, if he can, and if he wants to.
That's my thing.
Oh, he hit something on his headset and it.
Oh, weird.
He's actually in the back. He's digging in Shannon's purse.
Well, being that this is just for Eve anyway, it is technically something going on in her own head, unless she chooses to share it with you. When you first encounter an important creature, location, or item you recall, covered by your bardic lore, you can ask the GM any one question about it. The GM will answer truthfully. The GM may then ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard this information from. So, Eve, this is very open-ended and not even a roll. So this is grand histories of the known world. So you're going to have to base your question somehow around history, but ask your question, Barry. What do you want to know about this area?
I want to know if there's like been like any great like battles here in this
Great
area.
battles. All right, fair enough. Oh, wow. Actually, you're poking
for the update very quickly since my hood has been removed. Obviously, most of you know, but I have large, semi-large horns, and
has this been revealed to the rest of them though? Like you haven't had your hood down, so
I did in order to help with his role.
Okay, so curious. First off, Mike, you are still there. Your phone didn't die, right? Because I feel like this might be something you might care about. For the first time ever, our dear Devi pulls off her hood, and you're able to see just from how far away she hails, as she sports a set of horns, which you were unaware that she had up until now. Does that bother anyone? Does anyone want to just kill her now?
Nah.
Technically, the Paladin would.
Boo said he
Possibly.
just keeps.
Possibly. I mean,
yeah, just speak up loud.
That's kind of a good point, actually, Mike. I don't know. I mean, his quest is to kill the cultists specifically. I don't know. Paul, would you think that seeing someone reveal the fact that they have large horns coming out of their head, would that make you think they were part of an evil cult worshipping a god of darkness?
He said yes.
All right. Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to do something about that. You two are going to have to handle that between yourselves. So what's going to happen now is, between the two of you, you can discuss it if you want, if you think that's what your character would do, or if you just think your character would blindly attack her for it, you can do that too. And sorry, Eve, we'll get back to your question in just a minute. So what do you do, Paul the Paladin?
I need to go ahead and break it now, though. Just like it's a long ways. I mean, it's not going to be 10 minutes.
Wait, what's?
Give him a second. He's got to go grab a 20 off of his dresser to give to my dad.
You're fine. Oh, you just had to make him a paladin, didn't you? You're about to get fucked.
That was the only other like main sheet I had. Like, so
I know.
I dropped my hood and I revealed that I have like fucking demon horns, and because Boo was a paladin, there's a fucking issue.
I mean, there might be. You guys might be able to work it out in roleplay, unless he wants to just fucking behead you on the spot. That is totally.
I'm working for the fucking king. I'm not like.
That is true. he does have pretty solid evidence that you work with the king, and he does know through the guy that commands all the paladins, Nord, that, I mean, he knows that you have been sent on jobs for the king, but maybe you've just been hiding something from the king. You've obviously been hiding something from the rest of everyone.
No, I just give me a whole 20 back. I need it.
Okay, so yeah, I got fucking horns, but at the same time, I still work for the king.
What does he choose to do
So
about that?
stand the fuck down.
I mean, he doesn't have to. He's the voice of God, remember?
I'm warning you, stand the fuck down. You may be the voice of God, but I can be the voice of a fucking demon if I have to. Stand the fuck down, or I will magic missile and fireball the fuck out of you.
Yeah, she does have 2 damage spells prepared, like 2 of the best ones. So
What do I have?
You have. I am the
Sword and
law,
shield.
and
sword and a shield.
That's all you fucking have.
Hey, don't let her intimidate you. I'm pretty sure you can kick her ass, to be totally honest.
I'm pretty sure if you kick my ass, you will not be going further as a paladin.
and
the
she
rest
might
of them
actually
will
hold
also
it against
defend
you as
because
your
I've
sister.
been working with them for a long time. Yeah, he said it. He believes me.
He believes you. All right. That is his choice.
I mean,
So
I'm always up for a good fight against a paladin.
That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, you have the barbarian who's like, I'd love to fight another paladin.
And
They keep
Eve is
pushing out on
evil,
me.
so she probably already hates you for like being the voice of God. So it might
And
be
I'm not.
suicide.
I'm neutral. Like
True.
I want what I want.
That's
Hey!
All right, so the paladin is fine with it. Continuing forward in time to our dear Eve, was there a battle that happened here? Yes. Many years ago, old Bardic tales tell of a great battle that happened here. Such a strong magical force was unleashed in this section of the land that corruption itself was let loose, destroying a majority of life on Earth and bringing about the inception of magic into this world. Many years ago, these mountains did not exist, but were part of a crater left by a very large magical spell which went off in the area.
Hi.
Hey,
What do we do with that information? I just want to let you know, you just poked like the very end of the campaign with that question, so.
Good.
corruption has been released.
I like take my cloak and I like hold it out.
Okay.
And I like
Just cough and clear your throat menacingly.
and then I in a very grand voice I start telling the tale.
Okay, so oh, and incidentally, I do have to ask, well, I kind of filled it in for you. Bards have been telling this tale for a while, so you've just heard it through your bardic travels, because most bards and people who collect old stories know that many a moon ago, this great spell was unleashed. So, because this revelation only happened in Eve's head, she was the one who knew all of this information. She's going to attempt to communicate it to you all through a grand play, which I assume she's playing with her cloak as the second character. I don't know. How does that go, Eve?
Go inside so that way I can plug this into one of y'all's chargers.
How do we describe this to people? Oh, and real quick, Mike, are you here? Yeah, you're here. You spoke a second ago. Never mind. Just making sure. So how do you explain what I just told you to them?
Many days, years, months, moons ago.
All sorts of increments of time.
There was a grand battle that ended everything. Magic came up through that battle. And that is how we have it now today.
Woo! All right. That brings up certain questions I would expect, Devi, considering that you know magic supposedly comes from the gods and demons. This brings up new information for you, or does it? Who knows?
I'm going to disagree with her.
She chooses to disagree with you, which I would assume as a performer, you're probably used to heckles. But how do you choose to handle the fact that the now
Well, I'm not just going to disagree with her. I'm just going to roll my eyes and be like, if you have no idea what you're talking about, don't speak of magic. It's been in my family for eons.
Does Evil Eve respond harshly to that, or does she just internalize it for future poisonings?
I am going to. What am I going to do?
Keep in mind we have a lawful paladin around, so if we start fighting amongst each other, he will probably be forced to get involved.
That's true.
I will just. I'll scoff, and I will say, you obviously have not heard the grand tales that I have heard, so you know nothing.
We gonna keep this back and forth going, or is one of you gonna let this go, Miss Devi?
I never let anything go, but
of course.
I pocket things for later.
Perfect. So, once again, you've arrived at the opposite side of Ilkus Pass, on the other side of the mountains that separate the kingdom of Tyr from most of the rest of the world. You know that the thing you were sent here to find is somewhere in Ilkus Pass, so you've obviously passed it. With your new knowledge and what you have before you, what do you all choose to do? Go back? Continue forward? What?
Paul the Paladin is gonna use that lovely little find-a-hoe that he has.
Find-a-hoe? All right. Paul, do you choose to use your unwavering sense of direction to the cultists?
I would.
You do. So you, in your magically and God-centered mind, through the voice of God deep in your soul, know that whatever entrance you're looking for is disguised about halfway back in the pass. You assume, based on your unwavering sense of direction, that it is in fact somewhere near where you slaughtered the fucking innocent merchants. Well, not you, but the rest of them. So you know approximately where the entrance is, but not how to find it.
So can I, if we're gonna go back, once we go back and we get somewhat close, I just want to have everybody stand back, and I just want to fireball that area, because if I fireball, won't that knock loose shit?
It could. Currently, it's a fireball. I would picture about the size of a small room, so it might take a couple of casts. I will probably ask you what you're aiming at and how you want to do it when we get there, if that's what you choose to do, and we'll figure it out as it goes. But yes, if you get very close to whatever you're targeting, there's a good chance the concussive blast would at least do something, unless whatever is preventing you from seeing or finding the entrance is magical, in which case y'all fucked. Although you do have ritual, don't forget. Let's not forget, because that is super important.
Okay.
So, does everyone choose to backtrack into the path and follow dear Paul's guidance?
I'm going back.
Okay. Eve, you going? Mike, you going?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Y'all backtrack through the pass, finding nothing save the shit you've already passed, except once you arrive at the area where the gutted bandits and the two innocent but now dead merchants once lay, you find that all of them are gone. The corpses have been removed from the pass, and you find no trace whatsoever of their having been there.
Stop. Yeah, fireball the fuck out of everything.
You blow the fuck out of everything. So what I'm going to tell you is you stand in a clearing that widens in the path, right? So this section of the path is fairly larger than the rest of it, so it does stand out. You have the area where once the bandit who was gutted lay. You have the area where the innocent merchants once lay, and you have the rest of the path that went back the way you guys came. Whereabouts do you place that explosion?
I want one at all three.
All right, tell me which one first, because we're gonna have to roll for spells each one.
I'll do the area where the dude was hidden.
Where they? Oh, like it's gonna be close to where you guys are standing now, basically, like that side of the path, right?
Do you have another controller?
Yes, I believe so.
Your spell goes off without a hitch, being above a 12. The spell, being so keenly focused, causes a small ripple of explosion to go through the nearby mountainside. You notice at one section of the mountain where, let's see, it'd be technically on like the right side of the pass into the mountains, you notice a section of the vines that were hanging against the side of the wall seem to swing freely as though there is nothing behind them but
It's in my room. Can you get it? It's on. It's by the TV.
Actions.
I used prepared for a second so I can.
You're fine.
Say that one more time for me.
So your explosion went off so keenly and with such a great roll that a shockwave propagated itself through the side of the mountain. On one side of the pass, because remember both sides of the pass along the walls of the mountain are covered in a strange but very thick and tangling vine. On one side, the vines themselves go back and forth as though there's nothing behind them whatsoever except air, unlike the rest of them which are growing into the side of the mountain. Leads you to believe that there is an opening behind these vines.
I want to shoot him at the vines now.
Want to shoot an explosion at the vines?
Yeah.
Okay. 5, 6 plus your int.
2.
7, 8. Your spell goes off. Do you choose unwanted attention, lose the spell for good, or -1 to cast a spell?
Unwanted attention.
Unwanted attention. Devi, casting a spell from her spell book of arcane magics, causes a fire explosion to rip through the vines. Christ almighty, what is that?
My little sister wants a banana.
Give the poor child a banana.
I'm on it. Are you kidding?
Go make sure that it's okay with Shayna. Hold on, he's checking with mom. Okay, go ahead.
So, your fireball aimed at the section of vines which were swinging freely, and I think we lost your brother, envelops those vines, burning them to a crisp and revealing a very large open cave mouth. Unfortunately, at the same time, our poor and slightly singed, once disappeared unknown character who came from behind the rocks appears behind those vines in the aftermath of the explosion, letting loose an arrow which he has already drawn directly at your chest. What do you do?
His stuff died, by the way, so I'm just chilling with him.
Oh, that's fine.
Are you okay? All right. Magic missile.
Magic. Well, defy danger first. How do you defy the danger?
Can I not use that as?
Technically, yeah. You could aim at the arrow flying through the air. Yeah.
Okay.
Magic missile. 9 plus your int, which becomes 11. You, seeing the arrow flying through your chest, quickly react with a spell you have prepared. You let loose 2 missiles from your hand, which strike the arrow squarely in the air. You knock it from its trajectory and explode it in mid-air. The bandit seems somewhat confused and ditches back into the darkness of the cave. What do you do? Muted.
I'm gonna go follow after him.
Okay. Everyone else choose to follow after? Anyone else doing anything different?
No.
I'll follow.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm following.
as I perceive it, we have Darian going in first, followed by Steve, followed by Ajax. Yes?
Sure.
Okay. You continue into the darkness of the cave, in which only Devi sees immediately. The cave opens to a slightly wider mouth for a moment and goes into a larger room. You can tell that your bandit friend, or whatever he may be, has curved around this corner and gone into that room. Devi, you see somewhat clearly, but you notice that your dark vision is weaker than it should be. Do you continue to follow him? Do you stay here? What do you do?
1 second. Let me look at my cantrips.
You're fine. Unseen servant, prestidigitation, or light.
I want to use unseen servant and have them seek them out and then come back and let me know where they are.
All right. You conjure a simple invisible construct that can complete simple tasks for you. The servant has 1 HP, cannot attack, but can carry up to 4 weight and will respond to commands from a distance. The servant will dispel if you cast another spell or if it leaves your sight, dropping any items it was holding. So, if you cast a spell, oh my god. All right, so you just rolled 2 ones. So the spell does not happen, and you...
Well, no. It's a cantrip, and my cantrips automatically happen, I thought.
No. You still have to cast them. You just get them automatically. They don't count against your spells.
Oh, that was the thing for another race. That's why.
Probably. Sounds about right. I barely remember.
Yep.
Too many goddamn changes.
All the cantrips are in one.
Oh,
never mind.
shit. Well, so you completely failed that. You lose Unseen Servant until you prepare spells again, and the spell does not go off. Anyone else choose to make an action, or do you choose to cast another spell?
Hey, boo-boo.
Somebody else have any ideas?
You got a cord charge?
I mean, do we have a torch?
We do have light, technically, but no torches are available unless one of you has one, which I don't think I've actually made them available.
I thought we... Oh, wait, no, that was from the last mission.
Yeah, there were torches in the cave last time. None in this one, because it's almost like they're a cultist of a god of darkness. Yeah. I'm super predictable.
I
have adventuring gear. Could I pull out a torch?
You absolutely can try. You reach your hand deep into the pouch of gear you've brought with you in preparation for this mission and pull out absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. You have 4 charges of adventuring gear left. You can try again. Once again, don't forget, Devi does have light.
What?
And Devi, incidentally, you see a little further into this room, this large circle and X that you see is an area of such pitch black darkness, such concentrated dark, that even your eyes cannot pierce through it. The rest of you see basically nothing. There's almost no light in this cave. You see a small amount of this entrance from the light flooding in, but you see nothing over here.
I'm gonna like try to find a wall and like.
You are easily able to find the side of the wall. It is wet, and let's just go with wet. Just drippy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like slowly just like walk forward.
She's going to continue doing that. Anyone else taking any actions as she continues
I'm gonna
forward?
walk down to the mouth.
Okay. Which of you wants to reach the mouth of the cave first?
I mean, I think I'd probably be moving quicker than them.
That is a solid point.
Yeah.
Okay. Devi will reach the mouth of the cave first as, unawares and unbeknownst to her, once again, she feels a small wire hit the front of her foot as she hears a click against the side of the wall near where Eve is touching. A click fills the ears of both of you as you both realize a trap has been set and is about to explode. First, Devi, what do you do?
I guess I'm going to jump out forward.
Forward. You will use dexterity to move in front of the explosion.
I don't want to go like that close to it.
Well, no, like just past it. Sorry. Well, it doesn't matter either way because you just tripped over the wire. You were unable to get your foot free of the tripwire, and you tripped to the ground as the explosion rains fire and rock against your body. We'll deal with that in just a second. Eve, your hand lies against the stone wall as you feel a small section of machinery moments before it explodes. What do you do?
I'm also gonna jump like forward.
What's your dexterity? Oh God.
1.
6, also a fail. Both of
Oh
you.
no.
Eve in her blindness and Devi in her lack of dexterity trip over the tripwire, setting the trap off, causing a rain of fire and rocks upon you both. Devi will take, wow, 1 fucking damage somehow. Eve will take, oh my God,
character
11. Eve will take 11 fucking damage.
God.
It doesn't pierce though, so I'm hoping you have some armor, right, bro?
All right, hey, Max is going to take over Boo Boo's.
Oh, okay, that works. Can he like? He probably gets. Has he played like role-playing games and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Give him a vague idea of it real quick, and I'm gonna go pee.
He's been watching us.
Oh, awesome. Well, I still have to go pee, so I will be right back. Probably want to convince him to heal Eve, because Eve, how much HP do you have?
7.
7 remaining HP. All right, I will be right back. 1 second.
You're lawful good. Like, you have to do the right thing.
Yeah, you can blame your mom for that. She made you have to do the right thing. Like, you could have been evil like her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hold it against her. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Well, shit. You know what? Evil lives in danger. Another to continue your quest. And good was endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you. Or lawful was deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever.
What?
That's no mercy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I did to John. No mercy.
Yeah.
Banana is all over the floor.
Let's pick that up for them. Okay, bud.
That you spilled on the floor. She said,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. So, Paul the Paladin / Max, what you've seen is the bard, Eve, and your dear sister, Devi, have run their foot over a... Hold on, let me put you on the map. You are the blue piece right here. You've seen them trip a tripwire, and a explosion has caused a large ball of fire and large rocks from the side of the cave to pelt both your sister and Eve. You can tell that your sister was barely injured by it, but as the smoke and fire clears, Eve, our poor bard over here, is severely injured, covered in blood, and almost about to keel over. Do you choose to heal her?
Sure.
I like that answer. I guess. Okay, so the way that works is I will roll for you real quick plus your charisma. What's your charisma?
His charisma is a +1.
All right, you just rolled a 7 plus 1 brings it to 8. So you will heal her, but the damage that you heal from her will go to you. You heal for a D8, right? I think. Shit's all over the
Yeah.
So you will heal her for a D8. 6. Eve, you are healed for 6 HP, and Paul, you take 6 damage, not mitigated by armor.
It's alright.
All right.
It's alright. You're doing great.
So, what you have here, to explain further, this large circle with an X is a large area of complete pitch darkness, which Davi cannot see through. Paul, Eve, and Ajax, all of you are basically blind in here until a torch or
Took over
light
your
is
spot.
lit.
You're welcome.
In the ensuing flash of the explosion, and with your grand eyes, Davi, you see across the room. What you and you alone see is a large opening. The green sections that you see here are parts of the walls which are covered in the same vines which obscured the entrance to the cave. And over here, Mr. Yellow Guy is... Let me consult my map to make sure.
He's probably better at it than me.
The yellow fellow is a kobold, like the ones we saw in our first mission. Paul, basically, that's like a rat person. A kobold is like a rat person. So, off in the distance, which unfortunately you don't actually see. Like I said, Davi is the only one to actually see this full room. The rest of you see pitch black darkness. What do you guys do?
Fireball at the Cabal.
Fireball the kobold. 4, 5, 6, 7 plus your intellect.
2.
8, 9. Pick a negative. Unwanted attention. Lose the spell. Unwanted attention. It's always that. I don't even know why I ask. Okay. You fire a fireball. Well, not actually fire a fireball, but rather cause an explosion to happen around the poor, unsuspecting kobold. The kobold is enveloped by flames, dealing... Wow. 2 damage. 2 fucking damage. In a burst of light, the fire engulfs our poor kobold, dealing 2 damage. For a moment, he begins to put out little fires on his clothing and is momentarily distracted.
Want to do it again?
Hold your horses. You selected unwanted attention, madam.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
So, from the shadows of the sphere of darkness that not even you can see through, a person who may or may not be that question mark person you saw earlier, but similarly dressed, holding 2 daggers, and with a bright, shining silver amulet around his neck, attempts to plunge both daggers into your back as you cast the spell. What do you do?
Barry, give me that 4 ones.
Okay, I'm going to I mean, I guess use Dex, which is a +1, and dodge out of the way.
Dodge out of the way. Cool. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You will successfully dodge both daggers, but unfortunately, due to the fact that you are just casting a spell and you are unwittingly attacked, you will trip over a small rock behind you and be knocked prone as you dodge the damage. The enemy here will, seeing that you are prone, ignore the other, which he knows cannot see, and will attempt to attack you again. Unfortunately, you are prone, so you can't defy danger. It's up to someone else to try and save you. However, they're blind. So,
I'm going to yell for help.
Okay. She screams for help from the ground. The rest of you, being almost completely blind, can tell basically where she's at.
I'm the law.
What do you guys want to do?
Still on the
We'll try
ground.
to pull out another torch, I guess.
Okay.
Max, what do you want to do?
I am the law.
Okay, 1 sec. Mike got his in first. 5, 6, 7, 8. Mike, you find a rather shitty torch. It looks like it will not burn for long, but you have a torch. I would be a dick and ask you how you're going to light it, but I'm going to be nice and say you pulled it out of your pack, already lit somehow. Don't ask me. So, Mike now has a large circle of light around him, which unfortunately will not illuminate the actual battle, but a large section of light is now available. Max/Paul, you chose to use I am the law. What that does is you get to order one of the characters I control to do something. What do you want to tell them to do?
Probably
You want them to freeze? You want them to kill themselves?
Kill themselves.
Of course you jump on that.
Thank you.
You tell him, with your divine authority being the voice of God himself, to lay down on his own sword and leave Devi alone. Let's see if he listens. What's your charisma?
It's a +1.
10. He listens. He listens wholeheartedly. He feels overcome with the guilt of the fact that he has obviously been serving the wrong god. He knows his life is a lie and there is no point in continuing on. He lays down on his own sword, killing himself. Red is now dead, which I will mark with this little dot right here. Devi is able to right herself almost exactly at the point that the poor kobold, where she's set on fire, aims an arrow at Eve. Eve,
Am I still on the
unfortunately,
ground?
no, you are not on the ground. You're able to right yourself. You have been healed slightly, but unfortunately, you still have vision of the kobold, so you cannot do anything to stop it. Only Devi
I
can.
think they're doing movie and
Yeah, low light conditions suck, bruh. Devi, you're the only one with an action available unless Mike wants to jump forward into the battle, but he's still too far away to actually save you. But he could illuminate the room if he comes forward, incidentally.
I want to use...
Go ahead. What were you going to use, Devi? Because you're the only one that can actually act, technically.
Hold on 1 second. I would like to use...
Well, close enough.
Five years later.
Shut up, man. Okay, I'm going to use Magic Missile at the kobold.
Meanwhile.
Magic missile at... Oh, yeah, because he is aiming an arrow. Fair enough. So she will attempt to interrupt the attack that is going to go towards Eve by firing a missile at the poor kobold. You guys don't like rat people. It's weird.
No.
8 plus your wisdom. Is it a 2? 10 brings it to 10. No ill effects whatsoever as 2 missiles erupt from your hand at the end of an arcane statement or phrase or something much more story-like than that. 5. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's for damage. That's right. 5, 6, 7, 8. You deal 8 damage as the 2 missiles crash into the chest of the singed kobold. He becomes lifeless as the second one crashes in, dealing enough damage to split open his chest, stop his heart, and end his life. He falls dead on the floor.
That's cool.
Yeah. 2 are dead. Presumably, you have this room to yourselves. What do you choose to do?
Loot the bodies.
Loot the bodies. Devi will loot both bodies and find 4 cultist daggers and 2 cultist amulets. What do you choose to take?
I'm going to take the 2 amulets.
Mark those down. Leaving the daggers where they are. Devi. Did we lose you? Yeah, I think we lost you.
The phone probably died.
I'm thinking so. Well, I'm going to go grab a beer real quick. I'll be back in a sec. Do either of you two want to grab the remaining daggers, as it sounds like she left them behind? There are 4 cultist daggers laying on the bodies.
I'll take 2 of them.
You receive 2 cultist daggers at 1 weight apiece.
Okay.
Any interest in them, Mike?
I'll grab a few.
All right. Which corpse do you go to? The far one or the close one?
I don't care. Just pick one, I guess.
It's close to you. We'll go with that one. I'm going to go grab a beer while we wait on the other 2 to rejoin. BRB. I'll give him like 10-ish minutes. I know I asked at the beginning of the session, but both of you did mark the experience from the prior session that I texted out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was only Darian that didn't, I think. Just in case I forget, if we ever fucking see Escanor or Varg again, be sure and, well, not Varg, because he wasn't there for the last session either. Escanor, make sure I ask him if he used, or if he got the experience from the last session. Because I have the shittiest memory. Oh, probably not a good time, but Eve, who was the noble that you got your loot from?
I actually was just going to bring that up. I decided that I got it from Lady Bernice.
Hold on, you went that far to come up with a name. I was just going for basics. Hold on, let me go to my cast page. I have a new cast member. Maybe. Where? First off, spell it.
Burnice.
All right. Was she a noble of? I don't have my sheet. Where did you come from again?
Oh my god, I forgot.
Amaranth.
Yeah.
Is she a noble from there?
Yes, she is. She was a dear friend that I had there. And
when we say noble, are we talking about like someone of a leader or someone who just owns lots of land and is rich? How does that work in that society? What makes her noble?
She's like very rich.
Okay. Okay. I see the life you're building for yourself. I like it. I still don't see why the fuck you came to Tyr, but I like it. I like it. Actually, I forgot. Why did you come to Tyr? Oh yeah, the affair. The affair.
Yep. I got shamed out of. Yeah.
Awesome. Fucking awesome. Well, damn it. Just got a text, probably from Darian. Nope. It's actually from my drug dealer. Super.
Why are you barking? Oh my god, don't do that.
That was a bark.
Jesus. I'm house sitting and dog sitting.
They
and
were
like,
so cute.
I don't know. I keep like thinking like I'm gonna get murdered because I watch too much true crime.
So like every time they bark, you're just like, oh fuck, who's breaking in?
Yes, exactly. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening.
You're telling me. Don't judge me, but one of my favorite things in the entire world is LSD. And let me tell you, nothing is more fun than tripping on LSD and having your dogs suddenly bark like someone's at the front door. That's a kind of terror that like my dogs do that to me. It's like they know what's going on. They're like, let's fuck with him.
Oh no.
Between that and the fact that one of my dogs has nightmares all the time, from which she wakes up barking at like top pitch. Oh my god, like perfectly silent house, like watching some Netflix and all of a sudden like death bark. Like she's fucking like, yeah. Scares the shit out of me multiple times.
Look what these fucking dogs did.
Hold on. Spotlight, yeah. Oh my fucking god! No!
Yeah. Yep.
No. They must not be that old, right? Like 1, 2.
They're
3.
not. Milo is like 3 months old.
Oh
and
shit.
Nova's probably like 6 months old.
Oh fuck. Yeah, you're screwed, man. My dogs didn't stop chewing on my clothes till they were like 3.
Oh my god.
Dude, I used to dress nice. Like I worked at the mall, so I got like a fucking mall discount, and I had friends that worked at like Express and shit. So I ended up at like 40% off at some of those places. Like shit was my closet was fucking full of clothes, and my dogs systematically destroyed all of them. And now I just wear like multi-pack Fruit of the Loom shirts, and I just say fuck it. Like they killed every bit of my desire to dress like a nice person.
Okay, but like when Darian and I were on the way to Rogers yesterday, we were talking about like this group, you know, and I was like, you know what? Everyone in the group is adorable. And she was like, it's true.
If only I had my nice clothes, I'd be so much more adorable. They're all in various piles of decaying shit in my backyard.
Rip.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have an Eve back. Or not an Eve back. Oh, no. Someone popped into the participants for a second. Oh well. We'll give her like 5 more minutes and then we'll call the session. It's not terrible, actually. I was not sure if you guys were going to find the entrance within this session. Because the way I planned it, you fucking sadomasochist fuckwads, was I planned for you to heal the merchant, in which case he was going to tell you about the secret entrance from which the bandits came. But no, I slit his throat. Okay. Whatever.
He was gonna die. I don't have any healing properties.
That's a fair point. Oh, I see what you mean by that. You were gonna give him like an easy death. I thought you were just like, he won't miss his life. I see what you were doing. My bad. Okay, you're not evil. Everyone else is.
Yeah.
Everyone else. Although to be fair, you didn't. You didn't try to heal him. That was our Paul the Paladin that tried to heal him.
You know,
remember?
I don't usually play evil characters.
It's fun and freeing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know.
Because like in D&D, it's like hard to play an evil character if
it can be, man.
Especially if there's like anyone good in your party.
Thankfully, most of our party will eventually be evil. Like I've played with all of the rest of them long enough to know that I don't know, Mike's doing pretty damn good at being neutral, but I still say everyone's going to end up evil before long. I'm going to be replacing all y'all's alignments. Definitely Escanor. Like Escanor claims to be good. Like that's not going to last long. There's never been a good immolator. It's not happened. Like it just doesn't. They're all evil. By all, I mean the one we ever had.
Oh, Darian told me the tea about your last group.
Oh God, that was so much. That campaign I think we got over a year. We were like at a year and like a few months even, I think. We had so many sessions of that game. That game changed so many times. Have you read?
Yeah, she told me about how how her character was and like her backstory and everything, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, it got pretty in depth, man. Like most of the characters got really developed. Everyone just kind of lost interest in the campaign, which I don't blame them. It got so convoluted that even I was starting to have trouble keeping track of it.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely like the fact that we're starting over because our world got so complex that none of us could keep it all in our heads at the same time. Like we would constantly be like, oh, but wait, that thing that happened 7 months ago. Oh yeah, you're right. That changes that. Like it just got so complicated. And it was partially my fault because being my first campaign, I was handing out magic items like fucking candy. I was changing people's moves left and right, and it just got too complicated. But I did like the storyline because I'm sure she probably told you. Did you read much Lovecraft, or have you read much Lovecraft?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we started out with the what's the name of the story? The whatever the fucking Innsmouth story is, the one with the fish people.
Yeah.
We started there, and they found out about the whole conspiracy about them like offering shit to the fish people and to Dagon and like becoming cultists there so that they could have wealth, and they killed off half the fucking town. And then they found this group of like paladins and clerics that were trying to cleanse the world of all of the Lovecraftian evil called the Order. They kind of joined the Order and tried to help fight off the evil. And then the next story we did was The Color Out of Space, which basically I made the color out of space like a hive mind that possessed things. And the hive mind possessed one of our characters, which was a guy who was a douchebag. But I brought him in specifically knowing that he was a douchebag because when I drove taxi, I drove him to and from his D&D games all the time. He found out I played, so he told me about his characters, and he always played the dick of the group. So I invited him knowing he would be the dick of the group and knowing he wouldn't play for very long because he always moves around and shit. But anyway, so the first thing he did was drink in color infected water and became infected by the color. So like shortly after he became the boss fight, so we had a boss fight that wasn't controlled by me but was controlled by another player. He killed them all because I designed the fight poorly and sent them all to hell. So what I did then was I picked up with Dante's Inferno and we started fighting.
My phone will die soon.
You're fine. We're probably gonna call. Well, we are gonna call it. We'll do an end of session tomorrow. Is everyone still good with continuing to meet tomorrow? Okay. Mike, you good for tomorrow still?
As far as I know.
Okie doke. Hopefully we'll see Escanor tomorrow. But yeah, so we ended up fighting through the circles of hell. And then they finally found their way out of hell to find out that they had skipped forward in time a little ways because they'd been in hell for so long. We were playing around 1918 and we skipped to like 1930. I forget, like right around the time fucking Hitler took power. And I was going with the I forget what the book by Philip K. Dick is. They made a fucking Netflix show about it. Anyway, it's a story about like if the Nazis won the war or won a majority of the battles. So like the whole East Coast had been taken over by Nazi Germany. They found themselves
something high tower, I think.
The man in the high tower or high castle or something like that.
Man in the high castle.
Yeah, that's it. But it's like an alternate storyline where Hitler takes over like half the United States. And so we started rolling with that. And my intention was to eventually, because I don't know how much history you know about Hitler, but when he was really going off the deep end with his meth and amphetamine addiction, he started like dedicating a large portion of his forces to like researching the occult and shit. Like this is actually true, like actually history. And so...
Oh, yeah.
So basically, I was going to have him become the antagonist of like opening gateways to like Lovecraftian shit. And he was also going to have like a whole zombie army that they were going to fight. But like I said, by that time, it got so fucking convoluted that even I lost interest. So we restarted with a much more traditional campaign where I'm not following a story, because if I can just make shit up as I go along, it's way easier than having to thumb through like 900 pages of H.P. Lovecraft to make sure I have a detail right. That was the other thing making that campaign very difficult. But all of them had reached level 10, and they were all basically max level with a second class. So everyone had so many fucking abilities that it just became silly. But
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I would have liked to have concluded the story. I may someday pick up the story again, right at the like man in the high castle section where Hitler's taken over shit. Like I may eventually pick up that idea, but our storyline now is actually vaguely based on a couple of my favorite fantasy books, but I'm not using them directly. So
yeah.
And I'm not telling you which ones, because if I do, you'll immediately know how the story ends, because I'm totally using the ending of that story. Nah, you're going to have to play for like a year to figure that shit out. Plus, good odds you haven't read it unless you are a die-hard fantasy fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you ever read the Kingslayer Chronicles? Those are really good.
They have been recommended to me, but I've not read them. To be honest with you, I'm generally not a big fantasy fan. Like, I fucking hate Lord of the Rings. I know that's a sin, but I just do.
Well, it's been real, but like, it's been real. It's been fun. Yeah. Hasn't been real fun.
All right. Well, fuck it. I'm calling the session, obviously. Do not let me forget to do an end of session for tomorrow, for today. Tomorrow I should have group open by 4. Mike, if there's any way you can get a hold of Carter and like see if he'll actually come, that'd be cool.
He'll probably be on tomorrow. He probably just didn't want to do it today.
That's fine. I understand completely, which actually this works out really well because it gets you through the boring section. You guys found the entrance and now it's just going to be dungeon crawling. So now is going to be the time you're really going to want Escanor to be there. So it'll work out in the long run. So session called. It was super fucking fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.